I never was very involved in politics or very interested until probably about 8 years ago. But I have learned through these past 8 years that there are certain qualities that I look for in a legislator. You need somebody that listens, really listens. You need somebody that can negotiate because no one can have everything that they want. You need to be genuine, really working towards solutions and not playing games. And Tina definitely exemplifies all of these qualities in a legislator. She is intelligent, compassionate, and moderate. She just knows a little bit about everything, a lot about some things, and what she doesn't know already, she will go after it. She's constantly reading things to keep herself up to date and to understand the issues that she's dealing with in Augusta. Tina doesn't just pretend to care, she really and truly cares about all of the people in her district and throughout the state of Maine. So her decision making is grounded in that compassion that she feels for people. And her moderation shows in the things that sometimes become too partisan. And Tina's not on board for that. She makes decisions based on taking care of people, meeting people's needs, and not on a party line. Tina has experience in Augusta. She has been there for 4 years. And so now, at a very difficult time, as we are hopefully approaching a recovery phase before too much longer from the pandemic, Tina knows how Augusta works. She knows because she's had 4 years there. And when it's time for the legislature to start the repair process from this pandemic, Tina's going to be able to hit the ground running. She's not going to have to figure out how things work. She's going to be ready to go on day one. We've watched Tina for 4 years in Augusta, and we know how dedicated she is to the people of her district and to the people of Maine. And so we don't have to test her out and test that dedication. We already know what it is. She also knows how to negotiate in the legislature. And there are some specific things about that, being mindful of funding and availability of funds, being mindful of what her opponents in negotiation want, what the people of Maine want, and she has that experience. So you might not even know what Tina has done for us in the last 4 years. I can tell you that she's helped with things as little as extended power outages when people lived in remote areas and didn't know when they were going to get power back, and she would track down that information and give them reassurances. She's helped a person that I know of with accessing elder care for an aging parent. She found out where the help was and connected them with it so that they could take care of it themselves. During the pandemic this year, Tina spent hours and hours on the phone helping people to get set up with unemployment or to find the services they needed during an extremely difficult time. One of Tina's crowning achievements was the Riley Amendment. 2 years ago, people around the state were experiencing unbelievable spikes in their CMP bills. And she went after that issue and tried to get answers and was part of solving the problem in terms of getting their billing practices investigated. And then she wrote an amendment that provides that utility companies, if they have to have an investigation because of any possible mismanagement, if it's found that the company was at fault, the company has to pay for the investigation. Prior to the Riley Amendment, those costs for the investigation went back to the ratepayers, us. I was a teacher prior to retirement. I worked at Jay Middle School and then becoming Spruce Mountain Middle School when we consolidated. And when it was time for Tina's son to begin attending the middle school, she wanted to advocate for her son. She wanted to be sure that at the middle school, we understood Brian. Brian has Duchenne's muscular dystrophy, and at the time was already having some difficulty with getting around. And she didn't want to just let his teachers know. She wanted everyone to know what was going on with Brian. And I can remember sitting there and seeing this woman stand up before that entire middle school staff at a staff meeting one afternoon and telling us about Brian and advocating for him and explaining what his needs were and setting our minds at ease, and just so that we would know how to interact with Brian and how to help him and to make his move into that school as seamless as possible. And I was amazed at what this woman did for us and for her son. And I have found that Tina brings that same fierce energy and commitment to everything that she encounters. It wasn't just because Brian was her son, although that played a big part in it. It was because that's the way Tina Riley does things, with total commitment. I came to know Tina more in 2016 when she first ran for the legislature, and I was so grateful for her and taking this upon herself that I contacted her and told her I would do anything I could to help her.